come to you.
Bill, I'm wondering how your wife reacted to you calling Fitz every day on vacation.
Oh, Brennan. Sometimes I exaggerate. I don't know if it was every day.
In all seriousness, I noticed Glenn Carson, your starting middle linebacker, was also long snapping. Is there a concern there about him doing a little too much?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've got to continue to look at that. We just, being the first game in a big new venue, pro football stadium, we wanted a guy in there that had been there before in that type of a game, and one of our leaders, just a really dependable guy, and that's Glenn. And so going forward, though, you'll see different guys long snap.
Hey, Bill, how have you been able to enhance the offense from last year while still teaching Christian the basics?
Yeah, no, we have, and again, we have to do a better job of that. Christian is a very smart guy. I mean, he's a bright guy. I mean, to be able to, you really got to think about it. You go into that game against a very tough defense. They're a good defense, and they threw a lot of stuff at him, and to be able to handle it the way he did overall is pretty good. So we personally, I have to do a better job of the offense and let these guys play.
What's the balance? Because you did win the game, and that's the most important thing. But there were some situations with the running and the 1 for 16. What's your balance in how you address the guys? Because you want them to be confident and everything, but you've got to work on them and making improvements in certain areas.
Oh, I tell the guys on Monday, we go through the whole film, and I show mistakes that they made, and I certainly show mistakes that I made. I mean, nobody in this program makes more mistakes than me. And so I tell the guys that's important. And I look to try to improve every single day, and I look to try to improve them every single day. And again, I'm just trying to go out there and do the best job I can for the team along with our staff. And but there's a two-way street there. We don't go into a meeting and say you. It's us all the way, and that's what we tried to do yesterday. But again, like you said, Corey, winning is the most important thing. And we won the football game. Winning is like salt water. It cures everything. But you're from Pennsylvania, so you don't even know about salt water. From the cave, so. But like you said, and you're right, winning's the bottom line, and we won the football game. I thought it was just collectively a good team effort. We did a lot of different things. We quick kicked. We went for it on 4th down twice. Although I'll disclose a little bit there. The first 4th down we went for it, I thought it was first down. I thought we got the first down in a previous play, so I didn't even know it was 4th down. It was like Belushi and Animal House. Like, it's on a roll, just let it go. Jordan Ball, Pearl Harbor. But so, and defensively, we had a lot of different situations. At the end of the half, I tried to use all of our timeouts because I learned early in my coaching career that, you shouldn't go into halftime with all your timeouts. So I tried to use them. I got to be a little bit faster with the referee because maybe we could have gotten the ball back there and done something in a 2-minute drive. So we had a lot of different situations that came up in the game, and I felt like the guys handled them pretty well. We just have to, make improvement every week.
Bill, I think you guys took, I want to say 16 true freshmen on the road trip last week.
Right.
And obviously, I think it was 16 out of like the 72 guys who traveled or something like that.
Yeah, we brought 80 guys on the
was
trip.
it 80? Okay.
Yeah.
And so out of that, what do you hope those young guys get out of that? Just the experience of being on the road, and what can they gain from that?
No, you got it, Audrey. You're just trying to make sure that, you want to bring guys that deserve to go. Certain guys came that have roles, like Austin Whipple. He came on the trip because he was signaling, And then you had guys on that trip, young guys that we felt like deserved to go and would be either future players for us this year, or, maybe this week, or down the road. And it's important for those guys to get used to getting on a plane and understanding the routine and how serious it is, and the meetings at the hotel, and then how you warm up before the game, how intense the locker room is, how alert you have to be during the game, how into the game you have to be because of the next man up. You've got to be ready to go. You need to be knowing what's going on that field. So I think anytime you can incorporate young players that deserve it or that have a role on game day, then you should do that, and that's what we try to do.
Bill, can you talk about how Ty Howell has filled the void left by Matt Sienkiewicz at center, and how he worked with Christian on Saturday?
Right, Ty's a very, very important part of our football team. tough, smart, nasty guy on the football field. And Matt Stankiewicz is an excellent football player too. You know, he made it to the final cut of the New England Patriots, and you know, you make it to the final cut there as an undrafted center, you're doing something. And so he is a heck of a football player. And Ty's come in here and picked up right where we left off at that position. And he's a good pass blocker. He's built low to the ground, so he's able to. He's got great technique, and he's a very, very strong guy. He's a really important part of our team. He's got a great family. His dad's a high school coach down in North Carolina. He's a good friend of mine, and just a great guy.
What makes him so nasty?
But you have to ask him. I just know what I see on the film.
Hey, but with DeQuan Jones, obviously we saw Saturday he had an excellent game. I was just wondering, like, in training camp and then in the spring, like, could you visibly see like a lot of improvement in him, like from last year, and how so? And then I also wondered, with Hill gone, do you think that he's really just kind of knew that he had more responsibility this year and kind of embraced that?
During the offseason, one of the things we talked about with him, myself and Larry Johnson, was to lose weight. You know, we felt like if he lost weight, he would be quicker and more explosive because he could lose weight and still gain strength. And he did it. He went out and did it. And I feel like both myself and Larry, especially Larry, did a nice job with him in practice of limiting his reps, getting him good quality reps so that he'd be fresh for the games. And that showed up on Saturday. But the guy, it goes back to the individual. He's a fantastic kid. You talk about a guy that's overcome the odds in the classroom. He's overcome the odds on the football field. He's a great kid to coach. He's one of the leaders of our football team, and hopefully he continues to play well. And I don't remember the rest of your question.
It's all good.
Well, first, the breaking news is Corey's from Arkansas.
Is he? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was from Altoona.
We've adopted him.
I'm sorry. I have a line there, but I won't use it.
There was once a famous coach who felt that the team made its biggest improvement from the first to the second game, and I wondered how you felt about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that over time that's been proven out that you do. I just was thinking about this a lot today, Neil. In the NFL you have 4 preseason games, and you can really do those however you want. You can play your starters first half, 3 quarters, 4 quarters, however you want to do it. You really, by the end of 4 preseason games, you have a pretty good idea about your team. In college, you don't have that. You have 2 or 3 scrimmages during training camp where you're going against each other. You still get a pretty good feel for your team, but when you really get a feel for your team is in that first game, and especially if it's a game against a really quality opponent in a neutral site, with adverse conditions. I mean, it was hot. You guys were all there. So I do think that we learned a lot about our team. We can go to the film room and say, hey guys, look, this is what we as a coaching staff need to do better. This is what you need to do better. And if we make these improvements, we got a chance to improve next week. And that's all you're trying to do. So hopefully, I think that's why you see that 1 to 2 improvement. Hopefully you'll see that this week.
Bill, maybe not your team in particular, but the general trend, and especially in college football and even in pro and high school, you see it everywhere, is this time of possession, does that mean anything anymore? It seems as if the mentality's gone from let's hold as long as possible, let's score as fast as possible.
Yeah, I don't think you can put as much stock in time of possession, in my opinion. I think it's important depending on who you're playing. If you're playing any of the service academies, you better be concerned about time of possession because they're going to possess the ball just based on the nature of their offense. I think if you're playing Oregon, or somebody that averages 50 points a game, you better be worried about scoring because, chances are you're going to have a tough time stopping them. Nobody has. And so, I think it depends on the opponent that you're playing, but we don't look as much at time of possession. We just look at scoring 1 more point than the opponent. That's the biggest thing.
Bill in the back. Given how Christian played the majority of the game on Saturday, is Tyler Ferguson still in the plans to get him action like you did on Saturday, or is Christian the guy?
Christian's the starter, and Tyler needs to be ready to play, but Christian's the starter.
Bill, you mentioned special teams a little bit earlier. Could you talk a little bit more about Sam Ficken and where his confidence is at as opposed to last year?
Well, obviously, he had a good day, and he's a confident guy, and he's a great guy. He's fun to coach, really smart guy. Really, understands how to kick the ball and is able to kind of coach himself in some ways. I know Robbie Gould, who was a fantastic kicker here, great kicker for the Chicago Bears. He's a good friend of mine. He's helped him out a lot, and that's good. And but yeah, no, I think he's a much improved kicker, and I think he's a confident kicker right now.
Bill, can you talk about Eastern Michigan and what you see from them offensively, defensively, come into this week?
I think defensively, they pose some problems scheme-wise. They line up in a lot of different fronts and coverages, and they're going to pressure you. And they play tough. They have some kids that can really run. You better be on your P's and Q's because they're going to come after you. I think offensively, it's similar to what Syracuse was. You're going to see some spread, gun, run type things. You're going to see some schemes that take advantage or try to take advantage of your schemes. Special teams, I think they're going to come in here and play extremely hard and probably throw some stuff at us. We better be on our toes, for all kinds of things in special teams. So this is a game where, we have to have a great week of practice and we've got to be ready to go. We have a lot of respect for Eastern Michigan. I have a lot of respect for Coach English. They have, guys on their staff that coached at the University of Michigan with Ron English and Stan Parrish. And so, we have a lot of respect for their football program and their team.
Bill, Gary Gilliam is listed as the lone starter this week on here. Is that there's no war between him and Gress? I'm just wondering if.
Where'd you see that?
Depth chart, sort of like that. It's like.
It's or.
Okay,
I just want to see what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, it's or. No, Gary played well. I thought Gress played well too. Yeah, it's or. We'll battle that out every week.
Okay.
They'll both play a lot of football.
Okay, and also going off the special teams, we saw Vaughn Walker, and you singled him out a couple times as a freshman that stood out. He kind of took an interesting path to get here as a walk-on and all of that. What kind of has your interaction been like with Vaughn?
Yeah, we are really happy, and it's rare, believe me. I hesitate to say this, but I think it's important because he's only a freshman. But so just I got to be careful how I say this because he's not headed for the Heisman Trophy. But he's come in here and he's one of those freshmen that has been able to adapt very quickly to the regiment of meetings and the combination of having to lift weights, condition practice, and go to class. He's I know it's only been a week, but he seems to be a little bit ahead of the game on those things. And then he's gone out on the practice field and been competitive. He's got pretty good playing strength right now for a young guy, so he'll only get better with that. And he can field the punt. He can catch the kickoff. I mean, he can catch. He's got really good ball skills. So, his journey is pretty interesting, but he's a fun guy to be around. I just like tough, competitive kids, and he's one of those kids.